So, anyway, Kayla, welcome to everyone. This is our co-founder and guru of, oh gosh, everything, marketing and everything. I mean, you're just amazing. So,
Thank you.
couldn't do it without you, and this wouldn't be happening next month without you. So,
Well, I mean, this was what it was just meant to be. I just see we have some questions popping up.
oh, we do
Um,
already? That's very,
well, they're interesting.
oh,
I'm
okay.
not sure if it's a bot, but I would say you lead the response in the KoaWahineRetreats way.
I see I don't see them all, but I'm seeing some questions about kicking. Yes, I have kicked men in the groin as part of my training. I've been offered a tremendous amount of money to kick men in the groin. Yes, to travel out. And so I always make a joke that my second, my retirement career will be masochistic offerings, and I would be a millionaire if I chose to go that way, Kayla. But not um, yeah, so of course, and it's good for the receiving party to actually learn how to take a kick to the groin. And I also have taken kicks to the groin, and it's actually very, very painful when you have this tremendous force from a shin shooting into your pelvic bone all the way up through the ceiling. So, and that's the type of mana that kind of cracks like a lightning bolt through the center of your body. But now we have a technique for that in defense, which we should probably share with the Wahine when we're together during the weekend. So the retreat. So we can go ahead and add that into our Lua training, Keala.
I think it would be a wonderful thing for our Wahine to learn. So, but I do want to move on to
Yes,
why we're here. Oh my
yes.
goodness, because we have some an exciting topic to discuss, which we mentioned in our posts coming up to this, and it's called "Exercise is Energetic Exorcism." So our Kumu has coined a new phrase called exorcism, exercism, exorcism, what actually leaves the body when we move. And it is a wonderful, I mean, what do we call them, articles or papers? Because this one's 5 pages long. Um,
I know, and it's hard to read, and I apologize. When I go
oh,
down the lua, if you will, the puka, the hole, the pit, it's hard to stop sometimes. I have one that I've been working on for a while called Rewired, and I actually went through like all areas of our lives as women where we can actually just take a different perspective. Just quickly, one was starting your week on a Sunday. I woke up 2 weeks ago, Sunday, and I was like anxious for some reason. I was thinking about work and I was thinking about all the things I had to do, and I felt behind already. And when I made that decision while I was waiting for my coffee, to steep, it was sleeping. I was just waiting there, and I usually do stretches and things like that during that time. But I was like, oh my gosh, just knowing that today is mine, I get to choose how I spend it. Um, Really just made me feel like I'm not starting Monday behind. Like the week is folding into my intention of the week versus me like waking up already frantic. And so that mere rewire there really helped me, Kayla. And it's these simple things that I think we just go along with what the world tells us to do. We think the start of the week is when we start working, but it actually should start Sunday for us. It was a huge perspective. Something seemingly minor was major for me. And in my 50s now, I mean that's and then the shame comes in like, oh, you should know this, and what are you doing? And I'm like, absolutely not. At least I'm coming into it now, right? And I think that's the love, the way that us women view ourselves. Like, I should have known this, of what's wrong with you. And it's like, why do we turn on ourselves? But anyway, really quickly, that's how I got this exorcism. I wanted to buy the domain too, but someone bought it already just for fun, and but it's a simple word, because I don't know. I think I'd love for you just to open with what you found impactful, or what you wanted to summarize. What?
yeah, absolutely. So, and I'm going to read this bit about notes from your article.
Okay.
So what I takeaways, right? Exercise comes from exorcism, to drive out what doesn't belong, but not all movement clears the same thing. General exercise releases stress, Hula restores ancestral and emotional order. Lua enforces bodily law and removes intrusion.
Hmm.
Group movement synchronizes by cleaning the shared energetic field. That's big. Um, and public gyms, uncontained accidental exorcisms. So when you're at the gym and you're letting it all go, accidental exorcisms, right? Where's all the energy? It's all in there. Movement is medicine only when it's conscious, contextual, and contains. Otherwise, it's just noise in the nervous system. And I love how you incorporate the nervous system. So, folks, I mean, we all know about the nervous system, but since I've really been working with Kumumanu, understanding how it impacts our day-to-day life as living beings on a deeper level, it's raised my awareness of so many things. So, but you tell us more about this wonderful piece you've written.
Well, I wanted to maybe go, since you mentioned it all in a great summary, I kind of wanted to go through like the public area first so we can understand the energetic environment that we enter as women and men too. This is genderless, right? Anyway, so the public gym, accidental chaotic exorcism. Modern gyms are filled with dozens or even sometimes hundreds of people in the larger like YMCA's, right? Or even like when I taught at UCLA, the John Wooden Center had thousands of people in there, different rooms, but nonetheless, it was just so busy. So there, when we enter spaces like that, everyone, whether they're conscious to it or not, are expelling stress, rage, shame, grief, self-loathing. We talk poorly to ourselves even though we're moving, and this happens all at once. And so those of us that are a little bit more sensitive, and definitely women, we can pick up on this. It affects us even though we're not consciously aware of it. So it doesn't mean that gyms are bad, like you said. It just means that energetically they're loud, and people dump all sorts of residue and trauma and grief, and it leaks. And so if we are sensitive, we may feel wired, irritable, drained, or even overstimulated. And we're going to a place where we want to not feel overstimulated, right? We're told that you just release the extra energy. But this isn't weakness on our part. We have to go somewhere, right? It's just awareness of what's taking place in the field that we've entered into. So if we train at public gyms, we must learn energetic boundaries, breath discipline, awareness of how we feel. How do we ground ourselves and possibly shield? And then a post-session clearing. Do we do this in our car, or do we do it outside when we're walking to our car? Because guess what? Then you spill it into your car. So things can also get absorbed into our clothing too. So it's important to make sure that you wash things. It is a form of spiritual cleansing as well, because physical things do take on mono. We know this, right? So Keala, I would love for you to talk about hula, if you would, in the movement and what that means when a hula dancer is conscious and is she expelling? Is she with her halal? Like, what do you think?
So from what I've learned and what I have experienced, not from hula per se, but from group activities, friends on a hike together, group activities, and what Kumaman was written about is she speaks about the rhythm. So it's not exercise. It's definitely exercise. You're moving your body when you're doing hula, but it's a different energetically how she writes about it is it's a different kind of flow, right? So one of the most fascinating things I thought was how you described hula as an unwinding
Yes,
versus where Lua, is like
is a one.
that's where the exorcism comes in, right? And that's where that movement brings you into what you describe as your sovereign self,
Yeah.
which I feel like I mean, just from what I know about having moved my body for a little over 50 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna read a little bit from the article here, so which is beautiful. So hula is not exercise. It is encoded movements. Each gesture is language. Each sequence is genealogy. Each breath is alignment with land, wind, water, fire, and time.
Mm.
When you move in hula, you are not just clearing your energy, you're clearing ancestral memory stored in the body, reorganizing the emotional field through rhythm and chants, and re entering coherence with Aina, Akua, and lineage.
Mm.
Hula moves energy laterally and circularly, not aggressively. It entangles rather than ejects.
Mm.
What leaves during hula is grief that does not belong, strengthens emotional inheritance passed through mothers and grandmothers, and lifts any disconnection from place, language, and body sovereignty. Hula restores relational order between body and land, heart and voice, memory and motion. Right? Do you guys feel it?
That is my belief. Learning hula as a young girl, then going professional, and being such a stickler for technique and not knowing why. It was stored in my coco. So never now do I go and perform. That is more of a very kapu thing for me. It's for me to connect exactly with the mana that you just described. It's very private. And if I do, it's for a specific exception. So for me, it's very important. And again, you know, in ancient times, it did conceal the lua when the lua was banned from public display. So we've got all these different layers of our sacred traditions when they were whole and vibrant, where they were restricted, banned, their revival. So, you know, when others say certain things about our traditions and like, that's not how it was. I know I'm going off on a tangent. I'm sorry. It was just, we have to ask at what period in our culture are we talking about, right? So not so much to jump down people's throats now, but other Kanaka to have this beautiful conversation about when it changed, why it changed, and where it is now, and where we can help our kuleana to bring it to where it needs to be for us in this generation, but also the next. I hear, you know, the next generation, but we need it so much in this generation too. So on the heels of Mary Monarch, I'm really grateful that you just read all that you did. And for your, you know, Mana'o as well.
Oh my gosh, I feel blessed just to get to sit with what you've written and digest it.
It's a lot sometimes. Like I said, I go into the lua, the, you know, the hole in the pit, and I just stay there. And yeah, it takes a lot of, you know, connecting and feeling on it. So so I would like to go over the lua portion now.
Yes, please.
Problem. Well, like you said, it's different. You know, it's not soothing. But yet it is. It's weird. Once you work through that initial mana that needs to be cleared, it's quite clearing as far as impact, precision, containment, and completion. And what I mean by that is, as you move, it is expelled from the body. It's literally an exorcism. You can move in hula or lua, and it depending on what you need at that moment. So if you're angry, confused, anxious, um, it depends on the anxious, it could be both, then you move in the lua because it's so powerful, and it's like a lightning bolt where it will actually expel everything. Hula is if you're, you know, you're sad, you're grieving, you've had a disappointing day, you need to connect with yourself, then hula is amazing. And just 30 seconds in our movement will actually change our mana. It will help us release. And so whereas like general martial arts is good, you know, you go and you get it out, but then you still have to process. So you know, like you said, like where hula unwinds, lua cuts, and it winds, and it's this compression of mana, and then it's released more in a fast twitch type of very powerful focused motion. So it releases fear, that's usually stored as freeze. So when we stop and we're not sure how to process something, it will help us move that through our body. A predator imprint. So if we are being targeted, this is a good way, and it could be social media targeted, right? I have experience with that. You know, if I just stand and for 30 seconds move in my kahiko, in the stronger hula, or in my lua strikes and things of that nature, then I really feel like then I've flipped the script. Now, who are you to pursue me? I'm not prey. And it helps us with that. It gets rid of the victim conditioning that us women have been programmed with. Um, Energetic intrusions which happen if someone focuses on us. We can feel that usually. We can feel the harpoon too when they're trying to bait us to respond. Lua helps clear this. And external dominance patterns, just like I shared with you about starting my week on Monday. If there's anything dominating us through popular culture, whether it's popular Hawaiian culture or otherwise, we are able to actually clear that and find ourselves in our sovereignty and our mana, and be very focused in that when we move in our lua. So lua returns authority to our bones, and our breath changes, and we don't become more violent. We actually become more peaceful because we're sitting in our power. And we are establishing with the energetic that nothing can enter my mind, my intention, or my body without consent. So very important to move in Lua. And it is like an honor to bring Lua to the Wahine when we're together next month so they can feel it themselves. I think that, you know, there's not many talking about Lua, but when we talk about it, it's all talk, you know. And so I think if Wahine can actually move in it and feel it, it's so personal. Um, and so that's my hope, is that we'll all get up. But, you know, on that note, if someone has to noho and do it seated, is totally fine. We work with where we're at, our current fitness level. It's still very potent. So I would encourage everyone to take the Lua classes when we're together.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. Oh my goodness, I can't wait. But the what had you touched on? Hold on, I'm gonna pull up your article. You had touched on a piece that I was really wanting to cover. Oh my goodness, it went away on my computer screen. It was about the, oh, here it is. Oh, I mean, there's a couple things, but we can't stay on here all night.
Well,
Um, oh my goodness. Well, I mean, the one about the group synchronicity, and so Kumumanu does have for her students something she calls an all koa class, where they join, you know, through Zoom and in person as
yeah,
well at your school
yeah.
together. And they're synchronizing the field together, right? To, it sounded like to me, like help clear one another's energy.
Yeah, not consciously. So I obviously pule and set the perimeter for class when I'm putting it together, as well as before we start, I actually clear it physically in the paw. And so when the students arrive, the Hamana, they don't need to worry about it. And also, it would, you know, it's my kuleana as the kumu to make sure that they're in a safe space to receive, right? And if there is anything brought into the pa, that it's neutralized. And that's from a metaphysical, a pohihihi sense. On the physical sense, they come as they are, and some are not ready. And by the time we start moving, all of that starts to just go away. And you start to see the collaboration, the increased focus. And you know how I can tell is their footwork as well as their breath. It is always a tell for me as the kumu, to know that they're actually assimilating into the field that we've created. So they feel lighter, but they don't know why. They feel more focused. They don't know why. And they're in a place of receptivity, which is wonderful. And then you start to see that they pick up on what I'm showing, and they're able to incorporate that, not just in ku, you know, fast twitch, but
Mhm.
also in hina, where we're moving slower, we're matching our breath, and they actually know where they're going with their mana. You're not just throwing wild. And then they actually pick up on, I'll test them. Okay, give me 20% mana, 40% mana, 60% mana. And you get to see them work in these different ways. Give me the tide, show me up and down, show me in and out. And it's really beautiful to see them connect with their bodies in that way. So distortion doesn't linger very long. And that's really wonderful. Any ego of someone feeling like they're not as good as the koa standing next to them, they don't dominate, they assimilate. And weak posture, they become very conscious of their ku'umo'o, their spine, and where they're at and where their feet are taking them. So we're not just clearing ourselves, it's like this collective field that turns into an exorcism, which is ancient yet modern, which is ancient yet innovative and evolving, a living lineage. And we end up stabilizing together. And it's really, by the end of the hour and a half, sometimes I'll call 2 hours, you know, we go over our conditioning, which usually I burn them out. I try to in the beginning so they can listen to me. We're all like children. We have extra energy. So it's kind of like getting rid of all of that.
Yeah.
We go into our hula, then we go into our lua, and then we close with our pohihihi, our metaphysical. So they leave with questions, and which only furthers the lesson plan. The field continues, even though now, because it shouldn't stop when they leave the pot, it should be permeating them throughout the week as they ask these deeper questions, whatever the topic may be. So that's how we are in our palua, which is really wonderful.
You see, folks, like this is the amazingness that we get to step into soon next month. As a group together. So there's that topic, but now I want to move on to the next one, which is like the difference. So the way Kulumanu describes the difference between what Wahine need versus Kane when it comes to movements and exercise, and what really helps you, as you know, as she's so eloquently written about, expel, right? Exorcism is to expel the things that aren't helpful for us in our lives. Can you touch on the male female the differences? We'd love that. I would.
Well, yeah, I would just start with there's a lot on social media. We know we're on social media too, and it's some individuals will get a piece, a nugget that will enrich their life, and sometimes it's very misleading. And I find that it's the latter most of the time when it comes to women's fitness and women's health. A lot of white papers, we know this, are focused on Kane, and they continue to be, but there's more and more wahine doctors out there, and nutritional experts, and just women that are really doing their research and are experts in certain areas of our bodies, right? Our life, longevity, our fitness, all of that. And so I am just so excited to see that online, and not pay attention to what has been, which is that, ice bathing is great for us. No, it's terrible for women. I'm tired of treating our bodies as if, bodies are just neutral. They're the same, male and female. They are absolutely not. And that is the same with Lua and being a woman warrior. We are just made differently. We operate differently. Just our bodies are different, right? And we know this. So we don't store stress the same way. Actually, we're quite aware, more so than the Kane. We don't clear it the same way, and we don't recover it the same way. And so it's very important to know like what works for you. And so like people like me, like you, we're guides. We can put information out there and maybe like, wow, I never thought about that. And then it's everyone else's, ours included. Like when I see something, I'll use myself. I'll be like, wow, that's an interesting concept. I wonder if she's onto something here. And then I do my own research, and I go and I try to find white papers. I read about it. And so this is what I hope that other wahine get from being with us, is to hear something and say, I never looked at it that way, or I never really took it that deep. I'm going to do my own research. I'm not like I'm a public kumu. It doesn't make me inauthentic. What it does make me is innovative, which I believe our kupuna wahine would be if they were here. And so I just, implore everyone to do their own research and keep digging for the right answers for yourself, because you ultimately are your number one primary doctor. I actually hate doctors, no offense. I wish I enjoyed going to the doctor, but I don't. So I do everything possible
Yeah.
way and stay healthy, right? So, women are trained in systems designed for male hormonal architecture, and that often results in awful body movements for us. They don't feel natural. We end up getting injured. We end up often burning out. We end up often gaining weight and have increased inflammation, hormonal disruption, and just complete discouragement. And with that, loss of vitality. And when we go down, everyone in our life goes down, because when we don't feel well, we're no longer able to govern as well. And so it's not just not, and that shouldn't be an indicator. We, like guilt, like do this because everyone else will suffer, because that's what we're told also, and do it because it's for you. And to find a way, this personal sovereignty that I write so much about, that I have embraced, and it has changed my life, is who am I outside of, you know, makuahine, tutu wahine, worker in the, at work, kumu po'okelalua. Who am I? Who am I to myself? And so that has been very eye-opening. And part of that is learning how to honor my body. This isn't the way, this is the package in which I move through the world and do my work. So I can't lose vitality or strength. And when I get disappointed with myself, it's very hard to recover from that. Because then again, shame comes in again, like I talked about when we first got on. It's like, why did you? You should have, and you did everything, and you must have done something wrong. And we turn inward, and I just don't want to do this together when, next month when we're at the retreat. I want us to allow ourselves some freedom, some breath, some forgiveness, and just to find ways to move forward from this point on. And so that's how we clear differently. That's how we must clear different. We can't just put it aside anymore if we want to live a full life.
Well, one of the things that and thank you for that, all of that. One of the things that I liked about what you wrote that really hit me, was about how, when we are doing these workouts, right, that are designed for, like you were saying, like just one human, right, which is typically they design them for men. The difference in like how our hormones fluctuate, and then again, like how you write about how hula, we have the rhythm there. And this part that you wrote about, and I'm going to read it really quick.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
When women are forced into constant linear exertion, the body does not always rise to the challenge. My body did during the 2 decades plus of warrior training. It had to, as my survival. My ability to walk and function depended upon assimilating into the system in which I agreed to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
For other women, the body shuts down non-essential systems, including reproduction, creativity, intuition, and emotional resilience. So, I mean, I that spoke to me because I have seen this in my dear friends. Where they're working out, they're doing all these things. I have a bunch of food allergies, so I just had to like starve and lost all my baby weight. Don't, that's not lucky. Anyway, but like these are things that shut down when we're not treating our bodies the right way. And to me, being able to learn a new way to move through life like this through hula, lua, and like I don't know. This writing is very powerful. So
Oh,
I think that we should wrap up a little bit. I don't know if there's any questions anyone has, or I did want to read one more thing from here if there's no questions.
this is great. I'll say something too when you're done.
Okay.
Yeah, go
Oh
ahead.
no. Oh, okay. So, well, I mean, I don't know if it's in all of your articles that you write. So, folks, Kumumanu has a Substack, and the things she thinks about, like, wow, I thought like my husband and I'm like, hey, babes, did you know when did ice start becoming a thing? Who got ice? What about people like us in Hawaii in the tropics? Like they never had ice. So I think about things like that. Kumumanu thinks about things like that. And so in her Substack, anyway, it seems like a lot of what you write, like you have us ask ourselves questions,
Yes.
right? So there's these three diagnostic questions when it comes to movements and how you're feeling as a woman. So first I'm going to start with the intro paragraph to this. So it's called "The Lie Women Were Sold." The lie is train like a man to be strong. The truth is, women are already strong. They must train to remain alive. When women move in alignment with their design, they don't just clear stress, they recover their radiance, libido, intuition, emotional clarity, and bone deep authority.
Yes.
3 diagnostic questions. I invite you to pause and answer these questions honestly. After I move, do I feel clear or merely exhausted? Clarity indicates completion. Exhaustion often signals discharge without integration. Does my movement restore authority in my body or help me escape it? True clearing increases presence, not dissociation.
Yes.
Am I choosing movement that aligns with my body's design or forcing my body into someone else's system? Alignment heals, imitation drains.
Yes.
I mean, these prompts, like, that's the stuff that you're going to go back and read this again. You're going to
I
write
oh
about it in your journal and make your own little notes to help you find that. I mean, all I've been sitting around here thinking about is how can I convince a group of women to go hiking with me who won't talk a lot? Because I don't want to talk when I hike. But every
my
time I
God.
go, it's always and I love talking, but not when I'm hiking.
Time to connect, you know. I think that, you know, asking these questions, just that's the thing. You know, we ask them now, you come back to it a month later and you're a different wahine and your answers are different. So these are like timeless things where we
Yeah.
can just keep, you know, connected with ourselves where we are, where we're evolving to. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. We should never be the same. And so with that, I have 3 more questions. I wanted to start, you know, people can go back to this video or,
And yes, Mahi, no talking on the hike.
so we don't need more buzzwords. That's not what I'm trying to do here. We just need more discernment, and any type of information that helps with that is helpful for us. And so, not all sweat is healing, and not all intensity is transformation. It's like also not all busyness is production, right? So we really do need to be precise and wise. I think that's what we're being called to be as wahine, as a lahui, is we're supposed to become more precise and wise in our movements. So ask this, what am I removing? What am I restoring? And whose system am I training? Again, what you said, mine, someone else's, or expectation. So thinking about these things brings us closer to ourselves. It blows away the smoke that has been just distorting how we see, how we feel, how we move, and we can't afford that anymore. So
Yeah.
yeah, thank you, Mahalo.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay, so I know I did promise that we would give a special rate. I gotta get the coupon code for people on the live right now. Last week we had a lucky person bought 2 and got Kumanu's books. So this week, hold on, let me find it. This week, what we're offering is a buy one get one code. And so I'm gonna put it in here, but just so you know, like everything is pre-approved. So if someone gives this code out to the wrong people, I'm gonna know because I have to pre-approve everything. But here it is. I'm gonna put it in here, and it's super original.
Kayla, after you're done, do we have questions other than do I kick men in the groin?
I didn't see any more.
Okay.
Um, okay, so there's the code. And I know who's on here. Um, and it's not live yet, so it'll be live in about 10 minutes. But I don't think, are there any questions? Did anyone have any questions they want? Oh, here's one. Will you be coming to San Diego for any Lua classes or workshops?
Oh, not right now, but I am open. So if you'd like to reach out, please do so. I'll be working with a kumuhula up in Northern California, probably later this year for a workshop, but I am open. I love San Diego. It's not that far.
Yeah, right? It would be a nice little mini staycay vacay sort of, I guess. You don't have to drive that far.
Yeah.
So yeah, other than the thing we're gonna learn how to do, I guess, at the retreat on self-defense that this person highly suggested. I think that's all the questions for now.
Okay.
So yeah, but thank you everyone for joining us. Oh, and now workshops in Dallas. You know what, you guys?
I was there
DM,
2 years ago. So
you
yeah.
were there.
Yeah, I was there
Yeah,
2 years ago.
DM either me or Kumumanu,
Yeah.
and we'll wrap it all up and get back to you.
Well, there's a request for a tour. So not just here in the on the States, but also in Europe. So I'm thinking about it. So it would be nice to kind of arrange that so that I can hit, certain major metros, and bring the Lua and, Wahine Matters with that, obviously. So that would be really great. So
Oh
can
my gosh, let's
come
do a
with?
tour. We're doing a tour.
Oh, mahalo to all of you.
I love it. Okay, well, we will see you next week.
Okay. Aloha.
Bye. Aloha.